Hey YouTube, it's Corlash1990, and today I have another deck tech video for the Nightmare Before Christmas TCG. And this one is my Jack Skellington deck, and it's based around trying to combo out the Mellow trios, or all the musicians to play Mellow Trio, which draws you a bunch of cards. And it also utilizes I Am the Pumpkin King to gain advantage off of the Pumpkin King card and just trying to set up your board in ways where you can abuse this free surprise to get additional resources or card draw or move or whatever you really need. And again, I like surprises that cost 0 because it essentially reads at the end of your turn, draw a card for nothing at the very least. And yeah, this it can get you more resources. It's all dependent on what the Pumpkin King card thing says. Like if you have more characters, if you have more creations in play, or I think it's like the hand size or something like that. I can't remember the third one. But yeah, let's get on into this. So as usual, I'll separate it by locations, characters, which this deck plays quite a few. Creations, not a whole lot, and then surprises. So for the locations, these cards would stop sticking together. There we go. So obviously, if we're playing Jack Skellington as our main character, we play the starting location for Jack's house, which is good because it has a starting hand size of 7, and it has quite a bit of move. Move 4 cards, and then just the average draw 2 or add 2 resources. We also have Jack's bedroom, which has an activation of 4, and its function is draw until you have a number of cards in your hand equal to your starting hand, as indicated on your starting locale. So this could potentially be draw 7 if you really need it. We do play Sally because Jack and Sally combo a lot with themselves. So obviously we're gonna play Sally's bedroom because it's just a decent location too. 2 activations, really low. Add 2 pumpkin points and move 3 cards. So once you move characters to set up on certain other locations and be activating them, you can then later turn gain some resources and then move them to other locations such as this one for greater advantage. And again, I've said it in every video. Yeah, Scary Bed. The location deck is 6 cards. Think of it as 4 cards. You're gonna have your starting and you're going to have Scary Bed. Like these two, well, not necessarily the Jack, just any starting location, Scary Bed, and then pick any 4 locations that synergize with the deck. Town Square, because Town Square is also just good. And the Darkwood, 3 activation costs. You can either draw 3 cards or add 3 pumpkin points or move 3 cards. This card's also a very solid location. If for whatever reason you don't have Scary Begs, I do understand it's an ultra rare, and I know this game's starting to get a little more pricey, so this could be like a good replacement for it, or Town Square. This one I think is more ideal because it has the same scare activation cost. There's a good handful of just averagely good locations that are just full of utility. This could be whatever you need it to be. So if you don't have this, look for locations such as this, which this is just a common from the second set, hence the little black Christmas tree up here in the corner. Red is uncommon, and then white is rare. So yeah, that is our locations. Get into the characters now, and characters are awesome. Mainly this right here. This is one of the coolest artworks in the entire game, outside of what is that? What is the name? I don't remember it. It's one of the Oogie Boogie and the Moon, and it's a surprise. That's my favorite artwork for this game. This is a very close second though. That is just so cool. It's even called Demon of Light. Very cool. Anyway, it costs 6. With Jack, it's going to cost 3 because of the whole how you play different personas on top of each other. You subtract the difference in cost. When it comes into play, the player with the most characters in play draws until they have 7 cards in their hand. So it's kind of like a very fitting theme with this deck. You want to constantly have a full hand. This guy kind of helps to ensure that, especially because we are playing a lot of characters. Typical, whatever your starting locale is, you're going to run 4 of the basic character for it. So there's Jack. 0 is good. There's the white Christmas tree, by the way, if you didn't know. a 0 drop, and while Jack and 0 are at the Dark Wood, which we do have, whenever you fail a main search for using a surprise, you may keep any one of these search cards. This is a great contingency card. It doesn't help you with your scare value at the end of the game, but it helps in utility. And here we are with Sally. I play her in another deck of mine, another ultra rare. You don't have to have this one, you know, whatever one you have is fine, but I do like this one because it's a smart card filter. You discard a card to draw a card, and it's a hex, so it's like a free ability you get to do once per turn. Black Cat, another 1-cost character, and if played at the same locale as Sally, draw 2 cards. If played on another locale, discard 2 cards. So very good with Sally, obviously. And again, I'm not going to go into this dude, you know, same as Scary Bed, you play him and everything. More resources. Reaper is just an all-around good card, you know, discarding characters from hands. Hanging Tree is another good way to just drop out a 3-cost card for very little. The Rat, again, he's just good too. So, like during your opponent's turn, you can discard him from play to ignore a card that affects another character. So he's like a protective kind of a thing. This guy can just fly around and move to whatever locations you need. Mummy Boy is also good. He's good. He synergizes with Corpse Kid, so you can like move. Cyclops can filter cards. Again, the basic resource package that should be in just about every deck, with like one deck, the Christmas Town deck, being the Exclusion. I can't remember if I play these in there. I'll have to look through it again. And the meat and so-called potatoes of the deck. These are all of the players. He's not a player, but he goes with the player. It even says somewhere on here that it's, yeah, the base is not a player. But they're all 1-cost cards, and they all do things with player. So when you play him, you can search 6 for a player. And I play 2 of all the other ones, just for consistency reasons, to make sure a surprise gets maximum value. So when he's played, if another character at his locale has player in the name, you draw a card. Again, staying consistent with always having a full hand. He does the same thing. He does the same thing. So it's like playing 6 copies of the same card. Very, very consistent. You're going to be filtering through your deck a lot. And yeah, you're going to be recycling your deck. I've recycled my deck 3 times in a game with this deck before. Creations. We have a lot of high-costing creations, because that's kind of just what Jack does. There's another version of the Jack deck where you play a bunch of the 1-cost creations from the Christmas Town set. I chose to not do that and focus on the players instead, because I thought the players was a little more thematic, and I didn't want 2 decks that were just based on dumping a bunch of creations in play, like my Finkelstein deck, so I wanted to go a different route with this for just variety reasons. So again, play it at your town square, draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. Another card that does the same thing as a bunch of other stuff we have. This can cost 3 if Jack and Sally are in the same locale. This is a creation for your players. If the base and all 3 players are in your town square, which this is the location you will play them at. When this creation is played, you can immediately play another creation from your hand for free. So if you have those in your hand, you can kind of just drop 10, like last turn. Typically, I like to get all my players out, keep like 2 random creations in my hand until the very last turn, play this, and then surprise your opponent out of nowhere with just 10 scare points. That can swing the game pretty hard. And then Jingle Bells. This creation costs 1 less for each character in your Halloween town with the word player in its name. So more synergy. Now we'll go into the surprises. And there's like an odd glare. I'm trying to like get rid of that. So sorry if I keep blinding everyone, but wow, look at the foiling on this card. Very cool. Anyway, 1-cost surprise, give it all up. Stack this surprise in your Jack, and then discard all other surprises that are stacked on characters in all Halloween towns. Draw a card for every surprise discarded this way. So there's a lot of surprises that stack on other characters to do certain bonuses. The Oogie Boogie one I was talking about earlier in this video reduces a character's scare cost. This is a good one-shot answer to get rid of it and then up yourself by 1 scare point. And here we go. The main card in this set, or not in this set, this deck anyway. And none of my decks are budget decks. Like I run max copies of everything. I have a lot of ultra rares and rares. So if you don't have 4 of these, the deck, you know, this doesn't really go into the Mellow Trio deck. I just love what this card does and I like having it thematically around Jack because it's him in the artwork. Yeah, I'm the Pumpkin King, and well, I guess you do need Jack in play. So it's a little shows what I know. But anyway, if you have Jack in play, you can seize the Pumpkin King card, and then choose any of the 3 things you can do on it for free. So max value, right? This card's pretty self-explanatory. And then the final card in the deck is 4 copies of Mellow Trio. Again, 1 cost, search 6 for players, or choose a locale in your Halloween town, draw a card for every character on that locale with the word player. So 1 cost, draw 3 is pretty good. Again, it's not a rare, so it's not as good as that other draw card surprise I have in my Oogie Boogie deck, but it's still good, and it fits thematically with everything else in the deck. It all kind of just works into a nice little package. And yeah, deck building in this game is kind of like the Star Wars CCG, where there's so many cards that reference other cards that reference other cards. It's kind of like a big snowball. And it makes deck building pretty easy for the most part. I would say the most complicated thing about deck building in this game is knowing what route to go down. There's multiple avenues you can go down with certain characters. There's so many cards that combo with themselves to make creations cheaper, or certain surprises that key off of certain characters, and then those characters key off of with certain locations. So it can be a little intimidating to choose what kind of combo you're looking for, like, you know, what strategy you're going down, because everything kind of like spider webs in this game, which is, again, fitting for a Halloween themed game. But anyway, that is my Jack Skellington deck, and I think I will post my Halloween Town deck. It's a little convoluted. It's not easy to play. It can just win games out of nowhere. It can also just sit there and do absolutely nothing. But I'm gonna show it off anyway. But yeah, this is my Jack deck. This is probably the most streamlined, like mid-rangey deck I have for this game, and it's also very simple to play. You look for players, you dump them out, keep your Jack out, keep Sally with them, play Demon of Light at the right time, and just surprise your opponent with a bunch of scare points on the last turn to, you know, hopefully seal in the win. Yeah, anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.